Hello, everyone, and joining me now, Samantha Baugnon and Bekki Elaine Williams, both originally from Texas, where I'm at, associate producers on the film Night Night. They also serve as creative executives now in Nikki Costa's new production company called K Factors. Samantha and Bekki, thank you for joining me. First of all, let's talk about what an associate producer does and what was it a new role for you? Let's start with Bekki.
Yeah, so it was a brand new role for me. I've learned and grown a lot in the position, but to me, it's just another line of defense and getting a project over the finish line, taking care of things, checking boxes, and just kind of helping out your team. That's what it means to me.
Samantha, it looked like long hours and really tough work. I mean, it's not all that glamorous, is it?
It is never what you think it will be, but every project is different. And it was a great time. Bekki and I met randomly on the set, and now we're like best friends and working in a company together. So you never know what is going to happen. As an associate producer, though, it's just kind of like you're thrown in and it's different on every movie, but it's a fun time. It is long hours, but it's kind of like summer camp. You just get to know everyone so well.
It did sound like it was a real team effort in this film. And how have you grown, Samantha, over the process of getting this film over the finish line?
I have grown so much. I've learned so much. This is my first feature film to produce. I've worked on some short films in the past with Nikki Cost as well. And it was a learning curve for sure, but it's invaluable experience. And I'm a very hands-on. I have to dive in and just go for it, ask lots of questions. And I feel like that's the only way I can really learn.
Jump in, Bekki. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, basically the same experience as Sam. She started in it a little bit sooner than I did. I actually started working with Nikki back in the day on short films as a PA, and it went so well and worked so well together that she kept bringing me back and teaching me more, and just working with her has been a dream. And then eventually that dream led to me getting to work with Sam, and we clicked immediately. And then it's just been like the dream team ever since.
Can you point to one valuable point of resource on the set, Bekki?
For me, the most valuable resource is everyone around me. That sounds like very vague, but everyone has some bit of knowledge that no one else does, right? So if you're talking to everyone and getting advice from everyone and just listening and paying attention to everyone on set, like everyone, you're going to learn so much.
Samantha, was there one that just stood out that, boy, that person really helped me?
Honestly, it was Bekki as well. We kind of share the same brain, as we've come to find out, working in a company together. So we worked very well off of each other. And yeah, basically the same thing. Just everyone has a point of view, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Yeah.
Sam, you can also be found in front of the camera. What was it like juggling behind the camera and in front of the camera roles?
It was really fun. It's so funny because this was my first feature film acting in it with a good role. And you think it's going to be so glamorous. And then you're working 16 hours a day producing it. And then it's the last shot of the night at 11 p.m. and alarms are going off and everything goes wrong. But then it all just like melds together. And it was so much fun. And I remember driving back to where we were staying that night, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting, like my first acting role in a feature film. And then I got pulled over for the first time by a cop, and I was like, always keeping humble. Those Texas roots just can't get too big for your britches ever.
Sounds like a memorable evening. What about you,
Yeah.
Bekki? Are we going to see you in front of the camera?
Oh, no, no, no. I leave that to the professionals. You can find me in some of our projects as like a corpse. That's usually like the bucket that I fill, the no lines, laying still and dead on the floor. I got you. But everything else, we're going to leave to the rest of the team.
What
Bekki
advice?
was an outline. I will say this, Bekki makes an appearance in our latest short film that will be released TBD. She is the tape outline of a dead body. So that's her big day.
No lines with that at all, right? Okay, what advice would you guys give somebody who's maybe stepping into a new role or a new position on a film for the first time? Let's start with Samantha.
Yeah, like we've touched on briefly, just don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes it's hard to put yourself out there, but I feel that that's the only way to learn is admit when you don't know how to do something, ask questions, and then just try to do your best. Yeah, just keep going, keep moving, keep trying, and don't be afraid.
Becky, advice?
I mean, same, right? Like we share a brain, so same thing, but never stop learning and never think you've gotten to the point where you're too good to do anything because you're going to do yourself a disservice if that's your attitude. So stay positive, keep learning and pay attention to everything around you.
I know you guys are still working on this. Becky, what can you tell us about the release of Night Night?
So we're working really hard on putting together some really exciting and special events that we can't quite discuss yet, but it is coming out. There is going to be a limited theater run in a few cities, and we'll be able to discuss more information about that later, but we've got a lot of fun stuff in store.
Samantha, have you talked about any premiere showings in Texas?
We are, like Becky said, working on that as well. We're both Texas natives. It happened to shoot in Texas, which is super fun. So I can't wait for all my family and friends back in Texas to see it. And it's a little homage to the home state.
Okay, before we let you go, we'll start with Samantha. What are you guys working on now? Anything that's in the future that we're looking at?
Yeah, so being a part of K Factor Films, we have a lot of projects we're working on. I briefly mentioned Becky being a tape outline of a corpse, and that's our short film murder mystery that we are working on finishing right now, and hopefully we'll get to release soon. It was super fun. Yeah, it was great. We just have a lot of fun things coming down the pipeline.
Anything to add, Becky?
You know, Sam covered it all. You probably could have just put us next to each other. We could have finished each other's sentences.
Okay. Okay, if folks want to know more about what Becky and Samantha are doing, start with you, Becky. Where can they follow you?
Oh, I post everything on Instagram. It's at Becky_Elaine.
Okay, Samantha?
Yeah, and mine is at Sam Baugnon. Last name is Baugnon. And then you can follow our company at K Factor Films or see all the projects we're currently working on and have released at kfactorfilms.com.
If folks want to know more about the movie and what's happening in those projects that are still in the works, they can check it all out on nightnightmovie.com. Samantha Baugnon and Becky Elaine Williams, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.